In the headlines, police rescue kidnapped victim in River State. NSCDC rescues woman locked up by father for 5 years in Jigawa. 38-year-old pregnant woman drowns while crossing River Kaduna. And on the foreign scene, Russia attacks Ukraine's Kiev as first battles rage in Donetsk. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in full. The River State Police Command says it has rescued a kidnapped victim at Emoha local government area of the state. The Commissioner of Police, Umui Polycarp, revealed this during a press briefing at the State Police Headquarters in Port Harcourt. The Commissioner revealed that operatives of the command alongside members of the Emoha Vigilante Security tracked down a kidnapped victim to a forest off the Choba Bridge along the east-west road where she was rescued, while the kidnappers fled through the river. The rescued victim stated that the kidnap occurred on the 26th June along Salvation Ministry Road, adding that a black-colored Lexus 330 Jeep was also snatched by the abductors. The police boss noted that while operatives go in pursuit of the recovery of the vehicle, the victim has been reunited with his family, adding that efforts are ongoing to track and arrest the hoodlums, the police chief stated. The CP said the command under his leadership is determined to fight crime to a standstill, adding that his doors are open to anyone who has credible information for the command. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC has rescued a 25-year-old woman who had been locked up by her father in a room in Jigawa State for 5 years. The development was confirmed by the Public Relations Officer Dusa Command of the NSCDC, Adamu Shehu. For half a decade, the woman was trapped in a waking nightmare with her father, 67-year-old Garba Musa, allegedly keeping her locked up in a room that simultaneously served as her bedroom, restroom, and dining area. Safia Mustafa, a 50-year-old woman living just a few blocks away, raised the alarm leading to the victim's rescue. Human rights activist Musbahu Basilga was among the first responders to the distress call. It was gathered the suspect Garba Musa and his wife, who happens to be the victim's stepmother, are now in the custody of the NSCDC for further investigation. Operatives of the Nigerian police have reportedly arrested 6 persons in connection to the violence in Apofu community in Enugu State, which has claimed several lives. Sources say the suspect have been moved to the First Criminal Investigation Department in Abuja for possible investigation and prosecution. However, there are accounts that claim that the suspects were members of a vigilante known as Neighborhood Watch in Afopu, Nkanu East local government area. Indigents of the community, namely Ikechukwu Odunweze and Felix Ani, had on May 13th claimed that several indigents have been killed, houses burnt, while some residents have fled the town and taken refuge in neighboring communities at the Enugu metropolis following the crisis. Crisis in the ancient community, which happens to Ovu Lake, had lingered for over 35 years over a land dispute among 2 main families of Omu Ani Bio Vu Oyuwode Afofu and Omu Ani Oyuwode Afofu, resulting in invasion by bandits. A 38-year-old pregnant woman has drowned in a river in Kaduna while trying to cross to the other side in local canoe. The woman, identified as Fozia, was in the company of 4 other women who were all rescued by local divers. Trustee Bisbella Musa visited the residence of the deceased at Mokwallaha in Kogi, in the Gabi local government area of Kaduna State, from where he sent in this report.
The river is the easiest route for the people of Mokwalla and other communities across the river to reach home. While crossing the river, the canoe capsized with 4 persons, including women, who were rescued by local divers, who unfortunately were not able to rescue Faiza. It happened when she went to Kawa Market on Tuesday and she had to cross the river. She bought goods, and while coming back home on the canoe capsized and she died. The inability of the divers to rescue Faiza was attributed to the overwhelming impact of the river. There were 5 women on the canoe, but the local divers rescued them, but couldn't rescue her due to pressure from the water. 2 days after the canoe incident, her body was not found, leaving canoe peddlers and the local divers with no option but to launch a search for her body. Abdul Hakim Yusuf is among the 5 children left by Faiza. He was seen among the group searching for the body of his mother along the river bank. We were searching for her body in the river. I felt so bad that we are yet to find it. There is a place like an island, that is where accidents normally occur due to pressure and high waves there. Faiza's body was later found along Bansora village in River Kaduna, and she was buried according to Islamic rites. Trust TV had severally reported that communities across River Kaduna have been appealing to the authorities concerned to build a bridge for them for easy conveyance of pregnant women to hospital across the metropolis. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
In the meantime, commercial activities and movement were paralyzed for several hours on Saturday in Omo Ekiti following protests over the alleged relocation of the Federal College of Education meant for the town to Elewe Ekiti in Ekiti State. It will be recalled that the bill for the establishment of the Federal College of Education Omo Ekiti was sponsored by the senator representing Ekiti South Senatorial District, Biodun Olujimi, and was passed by both chambers of the 9th National Assembly. The protesters displayed placards such as "On Omo FCE we stand, no more, no less. This injustice must be redressed. Return our FCE back to us. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul." FCE belong to Omo Ekiti, among others. Travelers going to Abuja and those passing through the major highway in the town to Lagos, Ado Ekiti and neighboring Ondo State had a heckling time as the roads were barricaded. Efforts by the Nigerian Police, the Directorate of State Service, and other security agencies drafted to maintain law and order and also allow for free flow of traffic were removed. Earlier, the paramount ruler of the community, Oba Noha Omoribehen, had directed that all markets, shops, and other businesses must not open as a mark of protest for the alleged injustice brought on the community. Addressing the protesters, a leader in the community, Shegun Akelae, appealed to President Bola Tinubu and the governor of Ekiti State, Abiodun Oyebanji, to come to the rescue of Omo Ekiti by returning the Federal College of Education to the town. The presidency says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recognizes that Nigeria is being looked upon for leadership and is prepared to step up to the challenge. A special advisor to the President's Special Duties Communications and Strategy stated this on Saturday while speaking to State House reporters following the visit of President Umaru Sissoco Embalo of Guinea-Bissau to President Tinubu at his Ikoyi Lagos residence. Alake said while the visit was of a private nature, President Embalo took the opportunity to express his solidarity and willingness to cooperate with Nigeria under the leadership of President Tinubu. President Embalo commended the laudable policy initiatives of President Tinubu in the last 1 month and added that everyone in the international community had been commending the giant strides of the Nigerian leader.
You know, he was very forthcoming, he was very expressive. He expressed his solidarity with the president of Nigeria and his readiness to cooperate with Nigeria at all times and with our current president. And he commended the laudable and policy initiatives of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the last 1 month. And he said that everybody in the world, in the international community, have been commending his giant strides. So he came to pay his solidarity and to pay courtesy call, as it were, and to bond with him as a brother African head of state in the first instance, and in particular as a brother West African ECOWAS head of state.
The leadership of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) has charged members of the National Assembly to collaborate with the executive arm of government, saying Nigerians expect a lot from the legislators. The party gave the charge through its national chairman Abdullahi Adamu when the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, led members of the Senate on Salah homage to his Kefi residence in Nasarawa State. This is according to a statement on Saturday. The APC chairman congratulated Akpabio and Jibrin Barrow on their emergence as Senate President and Deputy Senate President, which he described as a great relief to the party, noting that contests for offices were over. He said it was time for governance. The Emir of Gombe, Abubakar Shehu Abubakar, has led hundreds of horse riders to pay a Salah homage to the state governor, Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, at the government house. The Emir's visit to the government house is a tradition that has been upheld for decades to strengthen relationships between state governments and traditional institutions. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
These horse riders dressed in a special northern regalia depict the cultural heritage of the people of Gombe, led by the Emir, Abubakar Shehu Abubakar III. They converged on the Gombe State Government House to deliver Salah greetings to the State Governor Inuwa Yahaya, who also holds the title of Ammajan Gombe. The Emir of Gombe, who is determined to preserve the cultural heritage of the emirate, urged the people to support government's development agenda.
This is what we have been doing now. You know, in the last 2 weeks, we called bikers from all over part of Africa to come and celebrate Greek competition between horses and bikers. So this is what we have been doing to modernize, you know, the Daba and the institution. Thank you so much, Your Highness.
Governor Inuwa said Gombe has a unique style of celebrating the Salah, and the Emir's visit will strengthen relationship with the traditional institution.
The Emir is here and all other traditional title holders are here in solidarity with the government and with the entire people of the state. We thank God that we saw the Eid al-Adha, the Eid of sacrifice, that is well celebrated, and we pray that God Almighty will stabilize this country and give the leadership the wisdom and the determination to deliver on the needs of the people, as Nigeria is going through very hard times and very, very tumultuous times.
Paying homage to the government house, I think, if I can remember very well, started with the coming of the colonial masters. During the colonial period, the government tries to keep a tap on the people, especially on the traditional institutions. They try to ensure that they gauge the pulse of the community by requesting or urging the traditional institution to mobilize the people in order to pay homage to the government.
Emir of Gombe's visit to the government house marks the end of activities officially lined up to celebrate the 2023 Eid al-Adha festival in the Emirate. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
You are watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming off after the break, we take a look at why young men delay marriage. Details of this story and more to come after the break. Please stay with us.
That's great.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Here is the recap of some of our top stories. Police rescue kidnapped victim in Rivers State. An NSCDC rescues woman locked up by father for 5 years in Jigawa. Now moving on to other stories. Stakeholders in the society have called on the federal government to ensure full implementation of Child Rights Act to guard against abuse and exploitation. They made the call on Saturday during a sensitization program on the life of an African child. The report.
Children are the easiest target for child traffickers because they possess less ability to understand the difference between right and wrong, and therefore vulnerable to exploitation and molestation. Stakeholders in Lagos State, however, gathered here at Ojodu area of the state to sensitize people on the right of every child in the society. The Vice Coordinator, Child Protection Network, Ololade Hector Fowobaje, speaks on how far the Lagos State government helping to protect the right of every child in the state.
The child rights law has been enacted, in fact, the child protection policy has been mandated for all schools. And then the child rights law has also been, lately they've told them that all schools must enforce it, So Lagos State is always there. Once the child rights policy has been mandated for all school holders, that's the starting point, So when there are child protection policies in school, child protection officers, we are good to go. So Lagos State has been there. We've been working very actively with the Lagos State government.
Kudos to Lagos State government. So far, they have been doing so well. I remember way back 2016 with the Office of Public Defender under Ministry of Justice, which is Lagos State, and through the help of UNICEF, we have been able to release children from prison, from correctional centers, and from adult prison too.
Other stakeholders, however, advised that every parent should take responsibility of their child and stop entrusting children in the hands of other people, urging the government to do more in protecting the right of every child.
Monitoring their children, taking good care of their children, monitoring their faith, their movements, and when they are in school, they should be able to visit the school and know their well-being and the way the teachers are attending to their children.
Applause to Lagos State government. They are doing a lot. Like they encourage organizations, especially the NGOs and any humanitarian society, to go out, and we are somehow coming together to bring it out. So we are giving a platform whereby we could work together with both the youth and women development and other ones like that. So we are giving good platform to work on towards that effect.
Society that can be free from rape and any other assaults of children, women and adults, so that children and everyone can live a life with a secured well-being.
The consensus here is that when a child is taken away or forced into work as houseboy or girl, used for sex or even sold to other places, it means that such child has been abused and exploited. The law should take its natural course.
Harsh economic realities are forcing many young people to have a rethink about marriage. Soon will be couples in Katsina advance a simple reason for decision to put marriage on hold until the economic situation improves. Abdullahi Ahmadi speaks to some unmarried youth on what they think about marriage and why they delay at all. His report.
Marriage is a union voluntarily joined for life until death separates the couple. In northern Nigeria, females are married off at the age of 18 and above, and between the ages of 25 and 30 in the case of males, depending on income or social status. However, the situation seems to be changing largely due to economic and traditional factors. In fact, there seems to be a lot more to it than what one can just imagine.
The reason why youth are delayed in having marriage might not be unconnected with the current economic situation. This is the biggest reason.
Most of the youth are not unemployed, so that's why they didn't get married early.
Some blamed the situation of not getting married to some cultural disparity between families and communities.
Number one thing that family consider now is what highestly leads to the problem of late marriage concerning the situation we are in now. The first factor they look into is how is this person financially stable, meaning they are looking into the financial strength of a person, especially the man that will want to marry again, not the moral strength. What we know in the olden days or in previous time is moral strength.
Marriage is a matter of time. No matter how, whether you are ready or not, if time comes, you will do it.
Commentators believed the situation will get worse and portends dangers to cultural and religious values if nothing is done to address inflation and economic inequality.
I'm yet to marry due to economic hardship being experienced in the country, and also marriage in this moment is too expensive.
Many are of the belief that to checkmate cases of rape and unwanted pregnancies among young boys and girls, government and other stakeholders must find immediate solution to address issues raised by the respondents. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Kazana.
In the meantime, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has denied the alleged plan by the association to increase pump price of premium motor spirit, PMS, also known as petrol, to 700 naira per litre nationwide. The chairman of IPMAN Southwest Zone, Dele Tajuddin, stated this in an interview in Ibadan on Friday. The chairman therefore urged Nigerians to disregard the speculation and not to engage in panic buying. Tajuddin stressed that the price of the product will not be more than what is being sold presently. He commended President Bola Tinubu for removing the subsidy on petrol, adding that it was long overdue. He said the slight increase in pump price was because of the transportation cost, adding that Nigerians should be at rest, as the commodity will not be out of reach for the masses. And now away from Nigeria, Russia has launched an overnight drone attack on Kiev after a 12-day break with air defense systems, preliminarily destroying all targets on their approach. The Ukrainian capital and a number of central and eastern Ukrainian regions were under air raid alerts for about an hour after 2 a.m. local time. There was no immediate information about the scale of the attack. It came a day after Ukrainian officials reported more civilian casualties from Russian shelling in the country's east and south. In the eastern frontline Donetsk region, at least 3 civilians were killed and 17 wounded. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that fierce clashes continued in 3 areas in Donetsk, where it said Russia has massed troops and attempted to advance. It named the outskirts of 3 cities, Bakhmut, Lyman, and Marinka, as frontline hotspots. The Saudi Arabian Ministry for Hajj and Umrah on Friday in Mecca unveiled a roadmap for the 2024 Hajj. The Saudi Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Tawfiq Al-Rabia, unveiled the roadmap at a ceremony attended by the heads and representatives of Hajj missions in the kingdom. The meeting was to mark the end of the 2023 Hajj exercise. He said the preparations for the 2024 Hajj begins immediately with the issuance of letters to each country that announce the commencement of preparations. Al-Rabia added that letters of confirmation of number of pilgrims slots for 2024 Hajj will also be issued to participating countries. He listed the highlights of the 2014 Hajj roadmap to include holding of preparatory meetings from September 16 to November 4th, and organizing of an international symposium and exhibition on January 8, 2024. Arabia stated that the first Hajj mission to conclude all preparations will have the opportunity to choose its preferred locations at the Mashayar for 2024 Hajj. And finally, on sports news, Britain's Savannah Marshall became the undisputed super middleweight champion with a majority decision points win over American Franchon Cruz, the zone at Manchester's AO Arena. The 32-year-old home fighter started slowly but landed the cleaner, heavier shots in a grueling yet fast-paced contest. The judges scored the fight 95-95, 99-92, and 97-93. After the fight, Marshall called for a rematch with Clarissa Shields, with American Shields in attendance and a vocal presence at ringside. Marshall said, "Thanks for coming over. Let's get it on at super middleweight." Marshall, who won her 13th professional bout, suffered a devastating first career loss to bitter rival Shields in October. Former Arsenal, Barcelona and Chelsea midfielder Cesc Fabregas has announced his immediate retirement from football. The 36-year-old calls time on a career during which he won the World Cup with Spain, the Premier League twice at Chelsea, and El La Liga with Barcelona. He ends his career 1 year into a 2-year contract with Italian club Como in Serie B. Fabregas says he will now move into the dugout by coaching Como's reserve and youth teams. Fabregas joined Barca's LA Masia Academy aged 10 in 1997, having progressed through the LA La Liga Giants youth set-off. They played 212 Premier League matches and won the FA Cup with Arsenal between 2004 and 2011 before moving back to Barcelona. Following 3 years at the Nou Camp, he returned to the Premier League in 2014 with Chelsea, where he played just under 200 games. He made 68 appearances in 3.5 years with Monaco, but his playing time was limited by injuries before he moved to Como. Fabregas won 110 caps for Spain and also won the European Championship twice in 2008 and 2012, either side of lifting the country's first World Cup in South Africa. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.